Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It's Dr. Patricia, and I'm so excited for today because, we have announcements. We'll do a group meditation, and I wanted to um, explore a certain theme that I think is super important for us to feel whole, well, and thriving, you know? So hang on one second. I'm gonna go live also on my Instagram. Hi, Instagram. It's Dr. Patricia. It is our Friday free masterclass with a big announcement. And for those who don't know me, I'm Dr. Patricia. I'm an integrative women's health expert, and I am the founder of Thrive Life Center. I am based here in Tucson, and what essentially that means is I bridge all worlds, from conventional allopathic if it's needed, Eastern medicine to spirituality, functional medicine. And I use all these tools in the box to get to the root cause so that you feel better, you feel thriving. Hi, Resiliency Wellness. I'm not sure who's joining there, but I'm doing a free meditation today and live, and I have some big announcements. So, for those who are tuning in live, I would love to know who you are, where you're coming from, and if you have any questions about holistic, integrative, functional medicine. Um, but before we start, I want to check in. It's Friday, end of the week, transitioning to weekend. How are you feeling? How are you? How's your head space? How's your heart space? How's your physical body? How's your spirit? How's your life force? How are your relationship? How's your environment? How are you? And just really check in and listen. And maybe scanning. Scanning is such a beautiful method on how to check in, how you're doing. And this is going to be our main topic for today. Hi, Sherry. Sherry's tuning in from my Instagram. And so checking in is such a beautiful practice. And that's going to be our main topic today is active listening, because our mind, body, spirit is always in communication to us, always trying to advocate for us, always trying to um, activate that healing, spontaneous response that we have. And it's our job to listen to those signals, to listen to those um, messages and respond to them in a way that can support ultimately us too. So that's going to be our main juice today. And then at the end, we're going to do a meditation, very quick, very simple, because I'm all about simplicity. I'm all about sustainability. You know, when it's simple, you want to keep doing it. When it's complex and overwhelming, hi, Sarah. It's nice for you to check in. We were just talking about today, our main topic is the skill on active listening, because our mind, body, spirit is always in communication to us what we need, advocating for us. And when we get this skill down, that active listening, we activate that healer inside of us. We embody that healing inside of us. But before that, I'm so excited to announce two main things. The first thing is I dive deeper on my free online retreats, which is going to happen next month, March 18, 19, and 20. So it's going to be 3 live days with me. We're going to have a live Q&A with me, and it's going to be centered around really preparing for the springtime, which is like the main time to bloom, right? That is the new year from a natural perspective. The winter is not the new year in my life experience, and how nature communicates that to me. There's no new life during new year from December to February. In fact, a lot of things are in hibernation, so we're still in that rest and reflect season. And so this um, free retreat on March is going to be really focused on like how can we fertilize ourselves and bloom to our full potential, and hatch nicely for springtime, so that by summer, the peak season of movement, productivity, we are preparing ourselves to really bear that fruit, to whatever you want to manifest in the world. And then the second big announcement is that I am so excited that I'm a co author in a very beautiful collaboration with women all over the world. It's called Unstoppable. So it's a very well curated 25 stories of unstoppable women, how we embodied resiliency, how we went through all the hoops and the loops through our mission and purpose. And my story that I share there is really embodying the healer's way. And part of the magic sauce that I share, not just my personal life, but this formula and ceremony that I always do, like repeatedly to my patients, to myself, to child rearing, is the love formula. So the love formula is what we're gonna go kind of sneak peek today. We're gonna do the first part of the formula. So the love formula is listening, objectivity, vulnerability, and enthusiasm, or activating that visionary. So today we're gonna go into the first step, which is active listening. And for those who will buy the Unstoppable book, which is going to be launching on February 28th, the link will be on my bio and in the comments down below, which is considered a free ticket to a 1 hour one-on-one coaching with me, which is about $600 in value. So that's going to be my thank you to you for supporting my book launch. Anyway, so back to our Friday weekend prep, active listening. And why is it that I start with listening? You know, the first thing that I hear when people come to me, no, they have all these symptoms, they have all these emotional um, navigation, heartaches, disappointment. Yes, book launch, Feb 28th, Embodying the Healer's Way. Um, when if you look back and if you observe children, they are so in tune with their needs unapologetically. They're hungry, they're tired, they're sleepy. In some shape or form, even non-verbally, they're able to listen, tune in, and communicate that. And what happens when we become adults after the grind, after we go through school, after all the productivity things that we need to do? What tends to happen is the way we talk to ourselves, the way we listen, is actually not listening, but more of like persuading otherwise. Example, I have this one client who is a phenomenal early childhood teacher. So she manages like 15 to 18 children all at once. And during her luteal phase, after ovulation, she feels so tired, all the PMS and all the fatigue. And the way she was framing it was like, during my luteal phase, I feel like I can't have anyone talk to me when I go home. I'm so tired. I really need to be in a cave and hibernate. I wish I didn't need that. I wish I could still, interact with the world after work on that phase of my cycle. And if you hear that, if you really do active listening, and one of the step is, how can you validate a little bit on what that body was telling her? How can we validate that that fatigue might be what she needed? Considering, I mean, most moms can't even handle one child. What more 15 children? So, back to you, whatever, like you're feeling tired, you're not losing the weight, you're not sleeping, how can we validate? How can we talk to ourselves in a more validating way? Well, no wonder you're tired. No wonder you can't lose weight because X, Y, and Z. Like sometimes we are so hard on ourselves. We talk to ourselves not like we're befriending our physical, emotional, spiritual beings. We are almost like butting heads with it. Like, but why do you have to do that? Why do you have to be tired? you know, Instead of, I hear you, you're tired, this is what we need. And that's the next step, reframing. How can you reframe that need instead of pathologizing what's wrong? That's exactly what you needed. Because right after actually she gets that reparative mode during luteal phase, she is actually restored. How can we invite in our lives that validation, that reframing, that that's my normal, and this is how I am listening and responding to my body's signal? And then the next step is curiosity. How can you be more curious? Like, I wonder why. Why are you tired? Why are you not losing the weight? Instead of judging it so quickly, how can we be more curious? So, those three things are so golden, right? Validate, reframe, and normalizing instead of pathologizing and restricting it, or like resisting it, and then curiosity. Imagine also if you applied that, and the principles of healing is can be copied and pasted in all areas of your life. Imagine active listening skills to your marriage. Hi, Kelly. We're talking about active listening skills, and how that is so foundational into activating the healing response. First, we must hone in the skill of listening to our signals from the body, the emotions, the mental health, to the physical being before we judge it, before we want to skip it, before we want to solve it. Validate, curious, reframe, normalize before you go to the other steps. Imagine if you apply this to your marriage, to your children, to your coworkers. And then the next step, the next ingredient is also tune versus process. You know how when we're like in our marriage or with our relatives who triggers us, you're talking about something so mundane, like, let's say, where are we going to have the party or the budget for whatever. These are like not neuroscience to get through. But because of the tone and the tune, it's almost like hard to get beyond that. So the process is actually, in many ways, easy to solve this. But because of the tune, it feels like you're in that mud, you're in that frustration. So, same thing with your body. What is the tone? What is the tune on how you're actually listening to it? No, because can we acknowledge that even dying patients, even patients who, or people who has suffered the most traumatic abuse, dysfunctional family, the most overweight person, 250 pounds, 300 pounds, there are testimonials and evidence that we can heal, that you have, we as human have the DNA to repair. So the possibility is there, like literally the potential is there. So we just need to access it first through listening. So can we just tune in again? And then using this skill very quickly, check in. It's Friday. How are you doing? Without blame or judgment. And then the first is, how can you validate that? Yeah, no wonder you're feeling X. How can you be your own best friend in your self talk and validate yourself? And then, two, how can you be more curious on that why without blame or judgment? So you can dig deeper and find the root cause. And then, can you reframe that in a different tone? Can you reframe that, well, this is what I need? Can we normalize that your needs might be different what social media is portraying on that highly driven woman who gets to do it all? Maybe you need that hibernation more. Maybe you need to cry it more. Maybe you need more that of the messy, disorganized chaos where when chaos is actually just harmony finding its way. And so how does it change now? Possibly my hope is that formula is helping you to potentially change that inner talk. Another example is, I have this client who is a real estate um, woman, and so she's kind of busy managing all the things, and she's burnt out. Now, common theme: burnt out. She's so in tune to what her body was saying, like, Sunday is my protected time. Actually, Sunday I enjoy just being at home. And then her husband wanted to invite her sister-in-law, although she loves her. Her initial gut feel was like a no. You know, if you only knew how to listen to your yes and your no, a lot of the things can be very clear in your boundaries. Anyway, it was a no. It was a no for her. But then she silenced that no, like, but no, I enjoy her having her, and then, my husband wanted it, blah, blah, blah. And true enough, ended up by the time that Sunday was over, Monday comes in, she was so exhausted. So she knew, she was so in tune to She didn't really want it, but we train ourselves into convincing otherwise, especially if we're empaths, especially when we're very compassionate and we see the point of others, we see why the others enjoy it. And so you sacrifice. There's a bit of self sacrifice, especially for mothers. I see it with a lot of mothers who are in their teenage motherhood life, and there's so much activity of their children that it's always a yes to other and a no to them, sacrificing their own repair and regeneration. And other service-based providers, lawyers, doctors, nurses, serving others, that even down to their urinary signals, they're gonna hold their pee, they're gonna hold their hunger just to serve. So, how can we honor that no and honor your yes? But before you know what your yeses are, you need that active listening. And the last thing before we go into our meditation is um, marketing, empowerment. This is simplicity, right? Like, how can we simplify actually, like, being kind to ourselves, being mindful with listening? So we know the steps, which I gave you, but how can it be sustainable? How can you always feel propelled without much of the push energy, right? Like, but I have to, like, that discipline. It's marketing. And marketing, what I mean is, how can you know how marketing people do it, like they make you sold, like how can you talk to yourself from an empowerment side versus like, but because you have to do this. Example, same woman, no, that the real estate woman, but no, I know it's me, I know that I need to be the one to make the changes. It's my fault. Like, what I love about that is, so once we identify our holy yes and hell no, how do we communicate to others? I love it. You just do. You just do. And then you'll find your own way how to lovingly say that. And marketing is also connected to this. I'll give you one example. So, marketing is, instead of like beating yourself up, like, but the good thing is there's that self responsibility. Like, you're owning it, you're not blaming others for how you decided to move forward, like accepting that guest, even though you were tired. How can you see it from an empowerment point that, what's the blessing in this? I have the power. It's actually up to me. And the moment I say yes to myself, I could see my future self being so vibrant, being so proud of myself on honoring my yes. So, you see how the tune is so different. So same thing, if you need to communicate that with others, like for this uh, example, she didn't want to have guests, but she also loved her sister-in-law and loved her husband and wanted to accommodate her. That's when you can, my coaching with her is, how can you say, oh my god, I love having you, Sunday is my repair time, is there another day that we can do it? So she still said yes to that, but she also said yes to herself. So how can you find that middle ground, that you are also listening to what they wanted from you while you're also communicating what you need from them? So this is how a simple way of doing it. Another example was, I had a patient who is in their winter years, meaning they're in their mid 60s to 70s, and their children have a little bit of resentment with their father, and they're not convinced that their mother is willingly staying married and convincing she's not so the mom is not doing a good job convincing their children that she actually loves their dad and wants to stay married. But the tone was also very like not convincing. So it's also could be like affirmative, so affirmations, and how can you affirm your choices and sell market to why you're actually making that decision. So it could be like you said no to a client. I'm sorry I'm not available now, but when we get to here, I'll be so restored. I'll be with you 100%. You know? So, did I answer your question? I hope, Sarah, you're still there. So, marketing, middle ground, focus on the affirmative of your yes and communicate that to whoever you're saying no to. Um, So now I invite you to just arrive in the present moment, and I invite you to close your eyes and allow your mind and body to be here, nowhere else to be, think, or do. And maybe even come home to your senses. Like literally sense everything. What are you seeing even with your eyes closed? What are you feeling? Temperature, your skin, temperature of your breath. Come home to your senses. Listen. Taking in a deep breath in and out. And start to relax and release through the mind and body. Allowing the eyelids to gently meet, not forcing them shut. Release and relax through the muscles around the eyes. And let this relaxation spread down the cheeks, the jaw, the shoulder, and really melting and allowing gravity to hold you. No tension or pretension. And if your mind is still going noisy, that is completely perfect. There is no right or way wrong to meditate or to check in. Now sensing your drum, the beat of your heart, the rhythm, the pace. What is the pace that you would love to embody this weekend? What is the pace that you'd love to have in interacting with your environment, relationships, and yourself? How can it be timeless, present, through the heart space? And then now connecting down to the gut, the one that receives all the nutrients and eliminates all that what we don't need. Connecting to that sensation of right after peeing and pooping, that relief. And let this relaxation spread down the legs, the knees and the feet. And very simply, what two words can you affirm yourself? What two things did you do so well this week and that you are so proud of yourself? And let's anchor to that best case scenario, that inner visionary, that highest self of you that already went over all the obstacles, the resistance, all the muddy feelings. Connect to that future self. What is the best case scenario? And have that inner smile. Activate that inner smile. You want to look forward to that. It doesn't need to be so hard. You don't need to be hard on yourself. It can be so easy. You are wired to heal. One last big breath in, keeping the eyes closed. And out, maybe rubbing your palms together and thanking yourself. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. If you have any comments, if you have any feedback, if you have any questions on what you want me to discuss on the next free live and on the free masterclass this coming March, just connect with me. Hi, Kathy, if you're still there. Um, and the links to the freebies of what we talked about today will be on my link in the comments. And I hope support me in my book. I'm so proud of it. And then you get the chance, a raffle ticket to have a one-on-one with me. And I want to bless your weekend. I love you guys. I'm really grateful for you tuning in. Thank you, Sarah, for being here. Um, and love and gratitude to all of you. Enjoy your weekend. Have a restorative weekend. Say yes to you.